Blasphemy. This is what I think about blasphemy. I'm I think a lot of people I think okay, I didn't Wikipedia or look up what the meaning of blasphemy is. This is just me off the top of my head thinking about what blasphemy is. Now, there's kind of seems to be like two versions of what people think blasphemy is. My idea of what blasphemy is dissing God, disrespecting God. So like my idea of what blasphemy is, a good example would be I saw a video of an abortion. And this girl makes an abortion video. She's like pro-life, and she's like, "Oh, the biggest tragedy of my life was my mama had a miscarriage, and and I guess she was gonna have an abortion anyway, but she had a miscarriage. So then, like, my big brother, his name was Joshua or something like that. All these photos of this, kid with this baby with like red face, and and it's like what? Like God wanted Joshua to not live. I mean, that's miscarriages happen. That's just part of life. They've always happened, always will happen. And now, if you're saying that that's like a big tragedy of your life, then as far as I'm concerned, that's blasphemy because you're dissing God. You're disrespecting God. Like God made a bad decision by making little baby go. I mean, if your mama wanted to have another baby, why did she just have another baby? She could have gotten pregnant and popped out another baby in 9 months, and it would have been like nothing. 9 months isn't that long. And this girl, I don't think she even had a sibling at all. So the mother didn't even want to have another sibling. So how could that have been a tragedy? So that's what I. So as far as I'm concerned, blasphemy is disrespecting God. Okay. Now, now, the idea of other people having their idea of like what blasphemy is like if you're supposedly disrespecting Jesus or disrespecting Muhammad. Like as far as Islam is concerned, it's illegal to draw a photo of Muhammad. Then if you did, that would be blasphemy because Muhammad and God are the same thing according to a lot of Muslims. Not according to Muhammad himself. I read the Quran, and I don't remember much of it, but one part that I do remember is where he goes, this Jesus and his mother, he says he and his mother are God, and they're not God, they're just people, representatives of God. We're all sons of God, something like that. Now, if he says that, he's saying that about himself. He's saying, I'm not God, I'm just a representative of God, I'm just a son of God, I'm just a dude, right? So then don't look at Muhammad like he's God. As far as I'm concerned, looking at figureheads and like supposedly dissing them, because there's lots of different interpretations of what dissing is in the first place, is primitive. It's a holdover from back in the days of idol worship, back in the days of Abraham, when they would have gods, little statues, of all their gods they'd carry around from camp to camp, and then when they made the cities, they'd have these gigantic statues of gods that they'd have to offer flower petals and food to and stuff. I mean, if you see the TV miniseries Rome, Pulo was doing that all the time. I'll give you 2 goats, Apollo, and sacrifice a chicken if you get me out of here. I mean. And then people would, if they do that, then if somebody goes, screw Apollo or whatever, or throw an egg at Apollo, they'd be like, oh, blasphemy, Apollo's gonna get you, Apollo would be pissed, and that's basically, as far as I'm concerned, the same exact thing these days. If somebody going, oh, you dissed Jesus, then Jesus would be pissed, and but Jesus was just a dude, and he wouldn't be pissed anyway. If somebody's full of peace and love, why would they get pissed at somebody being like, even if you go, fuck Jesus? I mean, would you get pissed off if a little 2-year-old went, fuck you, I hate you? And of course not. You'd be like, oh, cute little kid. Kid had too much sugar this morning or something, and you wouldn't bother. So that'd be like, so Jesus getting all, oh my God, did he say fuck Jesus? Oh my God, I'm so pissed, I'm gonna kick his ass. I mean, that would be like Jesus. That would be like somebody going, oh, that little 2-year-old kid got so pissed off me, I'm going to kick that kid's ass. I mean, you don't do that. Jesus would be like, oh, look at that guy. That guy's full of anger. Let's give him some money. I don't know. Let's shower him with love or something. But he wouldn't be all pissed off. Now, but I mean, it's even worse than that, because a lot of Christians think blasphemy would be not just saying screw Jesus, but they would think that it's like I mean, just like the Islamic people, in Islam, you can't draw a photo of Muhammad. I remember like 3 years ago or something like that. 5 years ago, there was a I think it was a Dutch or Danish newspaper artist who drew a picture of Muhammad, and he got fired because the newspaper was owned by Muslims, and because it was supposedly blasphemy. And so, yeah, but so like Jesus, I mean, if you say that, if you put like, dress Jesus in lipstick, is that blasphemy? Would that piss Jesus off? And then you'd have to go in, well, how is that disrespectful for Jesus? Like I have a status update on my Facebook page that says that I go, I've been thinking a lot about Jesus, his long hair flowing in the wind, his heaving muscles flexing in the afternoon sunlight. Now I said that because I think it's funny, because it cracks me up to say it, but also I'm expressing my freedom of speech to say that kind of thing, and if anybody wants to have a problem with that, then we can talk about it. It'd be a great, interesting conversation. I know there would be people who would think that that's blasphemous. Now, number one, how would that be blasphemous? I'm only complimenting Jesus. Somebody might think, oh, but it's homosexual. Well, what, are you homophobic? Some people, well, don't connect homosexuality with Jesus. Why? Does that mean that homosexuality? I mean, that'd be like saying that homosexuality is bad. And it's not even homosexual. It's just like picturing Jesus flexing in the sun. I mean, Jesus was a carpenter. He was totally buff. I mean, it's easy to picture Jesus flexing in the sun. I mean, people admire people's muscles of the same sex all the time. I have a body space page, and girls rub each other's nipples fucking like it's fucking nobody's business. Oh, I love her abs. Oh, your muscles, ooh. And I think guys do the same thing with other guys, So it's like, what makes Jesus so? Jesus is just a dude. And it's not blasphemous to say that about Jesus. And as long as people as long as people have a problem with that, then the atheists are going to get pissed. That's a prime example of how an atheist would be like, well, fuck God, then I'm not going to believe in God. And I know that for a fact because I uploaded a video where I said a successful society needs to believe in God. And all you got to do, maybe I'll even attach it to this video, but just type it in on YouTube. You'll probably find it, or just go in my philosophy or religious concepts playlist, and you'll see that video and all the comments. So many people think I'm a fundamentalist Christian because I said that. Because fundamentalist Christians have like the stranglehold on God, and the God concept, with a lot of people, probably mainly with like Europeans, Northern Europeans. New Agers believe in God. But like if you say God, I mean, people think you're a fundamentalist Christian, and they'd think that I would be the kind of person who would say that saying Jesus flexes in the wind is blasphemous, and it's not. And so it kind of ruins it for me as a person who tries to get people to believe in God when Christians get all up in arms about something so trivial as that. When, Jesus is all about forgiveness, so it's just like, brush it off. I know it bothers you. I know it makes you feel uncomfortable, but walking around in Asia with a shirt off makes people feel uncomfortable. Is that my problem? No, it's their problem. Of course I wouldn't do that because I don't want to get my ass kicked or get thrown in jail. But if I'm here in America, and the country that prides itself on freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and I'm walking around with my shirt off, and somebody gets upset about that, especially if it's some immigrant, fuck that person. I'm going to walk around with my shirt off. They shouldn't be upset, and if they are, that's their problem. Man, I'm not going to put my shirt on because they get upset about me having my shirt off. Asians also get up and get flustered about taking your socks off and exposing your feet. Sure, go to their country, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. This is America. In America, people express their freedom of expression. I could understand somebody getting upset and not wanting to see some fat dude walking around with their shirt off. That's kind of gross. I wouldn't get upset about it. It wouldn't gross me out, but I could understand. But still, if I was a fat dude and I want to take my shirt off, I'd do it, and I wouldn't respect somebody who'd be like, "Ew, that's nasty. Put your shirt back on." That's their problem. People need to learn tolerance. People need to, distinguish when it's their problem, and they need to keep that to themselves, and then not overflowing and making it somebody else's problem when they're just being themselves. Anyways, I'm out of time. So I didn't get to say my idea of what blasphemy actually was, but blasphemy is basically disrespecting God, saying that, oh, like, oh, it's so unfair that I was born poor. Well, that's disrespecting God. But then again, so you got to believe in reincarnation. What goes around comes around. You'll be rich one day anyways. I'm out of time.